Okay, so we're going to continue our talk on The Giver, the lens of complexities and complications. So this is all to help us figure out what the theme is. And we're going to pay attention to things that are surprising, shocking, unexpected. By the end of class, you will create and revise theories about theme based on your observations of what's surprising, unexpected, or out of character. So pay close attention to the complexities and complications, something that's out of character. The characters do something that they wouldn't normally do. Something that's unexpected in the plot. Something happens that you weren't expecting, something that's surprising that you weren't expecting to happen. And we're going to use those observations to help us redefine or refine our theories about what the big idea could be. There's a little comic strip down here. I'm not going to read it. If you want to go through the slideshow yourself and read it, it's really not that funny. So one of the poems that we're going to look at is by Walt Whitman. And the whole reason that we're looking at this is because, as you know, we've been reading in tandem some poems or some works by Langston Hughes. We're going to look at another work called I Too Sing America. It's a response to this poem by Walt Whitman. Walt Whitman lived, in the 1800s. He published this poem in the 1860s. And right on the eve of the Civil War happens in 1860. The country was super divided. More so even than today. And today I think we have divisiveness in the country, but I think it was even more divided back then. And, this poem was written to bring people together. It celebrates blue-collar workers. Blue-collar workers were the main workforce, and it still continues to be that, in this country back in the 1860s. So it was this poem was designed to bring everybody together, to unify everybody. But Walt Whitman did leave out a group from the South completely. He disregarded, didn't even talk about them. And that's kind of what the response by Langston Hughes is all about. So let's look at this poem. I'm only going to read this poem once. I Hear America Singing by Walt Whitman. I hear America singing, the varied carols I hear. Those of mechanics, each one singing his as it should be, blithe and strong. The carpenter singing his as he measures his plank or beam. The mason singing his as he makes ready for work or leaves off work. The boatman singing what belongs to him in his boat. The deckhand singing on the steamboat deck. The shoemaker singing as he sits on the bench. The hatter singing as he stands. The woodcutter's song, the plowboy's on his way in the morning or at noon intermission or at sundown. The delicious singing of the mother or of the young wife at work or of the girl sewing or washing. Each singing what belongs to him or her and to none else. The day what belongs to the day, at night the party of young fellows robust, friendly, singing with open mouths their strong melodious songs. Now, there was a group that was not represented here, and obviously if you're thinking about the South, pre-Civil War, it would have been the slaves that weren't represented from the South, the black people in America during this time. So fast forward to the, Harlem Renaissance, and we get a response to this poem that was written in 1860. We get a response by Langston Hughes. So I Too Sing America, we're going to read it twice. And then as I read, we're going to try to pay attention to things that are complex and complicated on the second reading. I Too Sing America by Langston Hughes. I too sing America. I am the darker brother. They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes, but I laugh and eat well and grow strong. Tomorrow, I'll be at the table when company comes. Nobody'll dare say to me, eat in the kitchen then. Besides, they'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. I, too, am America. So I'm going to read it one more time. So there's some stuff that in here that's surprising, shocking. I'm going to kind of talk through it. I, too, sing America. I am the darker brother. Now, is he literally a brother in America? Like, is he the brother of America? No. This is a metaphor. He's saying we're all, unified in this country, but I'm the darker brother. We're all one family, but if that family is made up of everybody in this country, then I would be the darker brother. Now, he's speaking as for all black people here, right? They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes. Do they really send them to eat in the kitchen? No. They just If you send somebody to eat in the kitchen when company comes, it means maybe you're embarrassed or ashamed of that person that you're sending to eat in the kitchen. You don't want them to be seen. But I laugh and eat well and grow strong. Now, think about that. If your family had, let's say your mom or your dad's boss was coming over for dinner, and all your other brothers and sisters were allowed and invited to eat at the table with you, with the company, and they said to you, you are not allowed to eat out here. You're kind of an embarrassment. You're going to eat in the kitchen. Don't come out here. We don't want you to be seen. How would you feel? Would you laugh? Probably not. You'd probably feel ashamed. You'd probably feel a little bit embarrassed. You'd probably be sad, right? And what's surprising here is, well, I laugh and I eat well and I grow strong. So instead of being embarrassed, instead of being ashamed, instead of being sad, the speaker of this poem says, whatever, I'm brushing it off and I laugh, right? So that's a little bit surprising. Tomorrow, I'll be at the table when company comes. Nobody will dare say to me, eat in the kitchen then. So tomorrow, is that literally one day? Maybe not. It's sometime down the road in the future, right? I'll be at the table when company comes. Black people will be at that table. They'll be able to be seen. They'll be able to be heard. They'll be able to participate in the conversations that everybody else is participating in. Nobody will dare say to me, eat in the kitchen then. Besides, they'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. So he's saying, that he has something to contribute, and eventually people will see that Black people have something to contribute, and they'll be ashamed of the way that they treated people in the past. This was written, in the 1920s, 1930s. So this is pre-civil rights era. So the civil rights movement hasn't happened yet. The Jim Crow laws were still in full effect in the South and in other parts of the country too. So this is ahead of its time here. And then he says, I too am America. So he's saying, you forgot about me. You didn't, in Walt Whitman, Mr. Whitman, in your poem that you just wrote in 1860, you forgot about a whole group of people. I too am America. So I think this is a really cool poem. And what can we get out of that? What's unexpected? Him laughing and being sent to the kitchen. Why is he laughing? He shouldn't be laughing. He's hidden away. It's insulting and it's humiliating. So that unexpected that happens in this poem can really help us understand more about the big idea from this poem. What is this text really about? Well, African Americans is really about African Americans. It's got an echoing big idea to what Mr. Walt Whitman wrote. Walt Whitman was hoping that the country would become unified. I think there are echoes and other pieces of hope inside of this I Too Sing America. Pride. There was pride in Walt Whitman's poem. There's pride in this poem too. They'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed, right? There's pride in there. So I think that they have similar big ideas. Maybe you can think of some more big ideas that would come out of this poem too. And some big ideas that would come out of the other poem also. Now, that's a little bit of an example of how we use complexities and complications to come up with the big idea. When we continue, I'm going to pause right here. When we continue, we're going to talk about what a utopia and a dystopia are.